This is Jamie Marks, and I'm going to present on John Delicath and Kevin Deluca's article, Image Events, the Public Sphere, and Argumentative Practice, the Case of Radical Environmental Groups. Image events are staged acts of protest designed for media decimation. Prominent in campaigns like Greenpeace and Earth First, the authors use these environmental activists through image events to develop a wider examination of the role of image events in argumentative rhetoric. So both activist groups have used some image events that were over the top, radical, and risky in order to prove a point and get attention through the media. As you can see, Greenpeace has a very graphic image of a bird with all trash and debris inside of it that it ate. Here we're going to watch a short clip from Earth First of one of their protests. Now we're going to watch a short clip of a protest done by Earth First.
This line is under a lot of tension. If this line gets cut in any way, it can seriously injure or kill someone. These are peaceful protesters. You don't care.
The system is rigged up. You guys just don't. And you don't know how to take it down safely. These are lifelines, and this man's neck is connected to it. He cannot move.
We understand that, but you have to understand that you do not understand the system. If you cut it, you are risking human life. Stop this.
We're here for the protection of these people.
We understand.
The authors believe that a complex set of issues concerning the practice of argument in a visual culture and the possibilities for radical politics in a postmodern age. So in this, they examine the visual argument. The visual argument is that image events are best understood as a form of argumentative practice, the implications of which can be meaningfully understood by investigating the argumentative function of images of protest. Image events are also a form of postmodern argumentative practice, a kind of oppositional argument that creates social controversy and which animates and widens the possibilities for debate. It's also a form of argument that employs acts of protest to deliver images as argumentative fragments that serve as inventional resources for public deliberation and which shift the responsibility for argument construction to audiences. Images also operating as argumentative fragments are capable of offering unstated propositions and advancing indirect and incomplete claims in ways that function to block enthymemes as well as advance alternatives. Image events in the public communication. Within the public sphere, image events of radical ecological groups are often spectacular, and they are not the displays of the rulers, but rather the rhetoric of subaltern counter-publics who have been excluded from the forums of the public sphere by the rules of reason and the protocols of decorum. Public sphere needs to be understood as not as a civic forum, but as the structured setting where cultural and ideological contest or negotiation among a variety of publics takes place. So the modern public communication takes place in a context dominated by mass communications technology and charged by the prominence of dramatic visual imagery. In a visual culture, there is also the necessary visual argument. More specifically, we argue that conditions are such that images are capable of operating as claims-making, reason-giving, opinion-shaping communication, and therefore they are instrumental to the practice of public argument. Image events as an argumentative process. Image events constitute a form of oppositional argument, according to Olson and Goodnight in their 1994 article. They are uniquely capable of generating social controversy in that they challenge norms of public participation as well as the hidden possibilities widen the possibilities for argumentation and deliberation. So postmodern arguments may no longer operate in discrete entities. Image events constitute a form of visual argument that operates in fragments. There's dramatic images that advance indirect, incomplete, and unstated propositions, refute unstated assumptions, operate as evidence for claims, or otherwise serve as inventional resources for future deliberation. Image events create opportunities for generative argument as they are sources of confrontational and creative claims making and refutation. There are three significant functions of image events with regards to their ability to create social controversy, animate and widen the possibilities for public argument, expand the opportunities for participation in the public sphere, and enhance public deliberation. The first one being that image events broaden the scope of participation in the public sphere to include subaltern counterpublics. The second being image events deliver argument in powerful ways capable of creating opportunities for debate and producing moments of generative argument. This unsettles the appropriateness of social conventions, draws attention to the taken for granted means of communication, and provokes discussion. It also is an effective tool for addressing the problem of the distracted and disinterested audience. Image events deliver arguments in one of the few forms likely to make their way to mass audiences. The third function is that image events and other critiques performed through the spectacle animate the possibilities for public discourse and expand the range of relevant rhetorics in social controversies by generating new lines of argument. So, image events shift the responsibility for argument construction to the audience. In conclusion, the boundaries of arguments included in the public sphere are expanded by image events that require an audience to make sense out of them as they resonate with other cultural and political rhetorics. I believe that the authors have a valid argument in claiming that image events are one of the best ways to create an argumentative rhetoric, especially with our visual culture. Another important point that they did not make in their article was that image events tend to be radical in nature, and the nature of them brings the argument to the front of media's attention. This is important because in the technology age we are surrounded by newsworthy material, an overload of news, and typically the more profound, the more likely that this will be picked up and caught in the eyes of the people. The other great aspect of image events is their nature to promote discussion rooting from the public. This is instead of an argument within two groups of activists. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Here is the work cited.